What's going on, everybody? It's Adam Mayhem, and welcome to the first edition, first episode of Chit Chat with the Champ. First of all, let's begin with this. This was not an actual question, but I feel like I have to say it. I did not come up with the phrase Chit Chat with the Champ. It's not me. That was another wrestler in Puerto Rico back in the day called Shane the Glamour Boy, Shane Sewell. And he came up with, or he used to say, "Welcome to Chit Chat with the Champ." And I blatantly stole it from him. So, yeah, if you're watching this, how's it going, buddy? And yeah, I blatantly stole Chit Chat with the Champ from you. So, that's out there. All right, first question from PJ Segundo. What wrestlers did you look up to growing up and made you want to become a professional wrestler? So, there is a very funny story about how I became a wrestler, how I got into the business. I was not a fan of wrestling when I was growing up. My mom thought that it was very violent, and she didn't let me watch it. First match I ever watched was WWF Metal, which was like a step below Sunday Night Heat. It was on Saturdays. And my first match was Edge and Christian when they were in the Brood against Kai and Tai, Taka Michinoku, and Joe Funaki. My favorite wrestler growing up was Edge, so let's go with Edge. Brett Harshbarger, which I probably butchered. What is the best moment in your professional wrestling career? I think as a whole, the best moment of my professional career has been 2018. I've been doing a lot of what I believe really good work, and I've been wrestling a lot of good names and having good matches, and everything is just moving along nicely. And it all started with my match against Mecha Wolf 450 in February. That just kind of gave me that kick in the butt, and just from Pedro A. Crespo Pagan. What is your overall goal in wrestling? Make money. Simple as that. Make money. Way back in the day, I had a mentor. His name was Ramon Alvarez, El Bronco. And he told me and my best friends that if we are in the wrestling business for anything else besides making money, we are in the wrong business. So, making money. That's it. Make money. That's my goal. What is your dream match? Don't be afraid to go crazy. There are a lot of names that obviously, think dream match. You would have to say, oh, the Young Bucks in a tag team match. Kenny Omega, Okada, AJ, Nakamura, Owens, Seth Rollins, Will Ospreay, Ricochet. There's a whole bunch of names that would be very obvious. I think for me, a dream match is something that cannot happen. I see that there's a lot of people throwing around the word dream match. Oh, this guy against that guy. It's like, that's not dream. Like, that could still happen. So I'm going to go with someone that I know that I'm not going to wrestle ever, which would be either Edge or Shawn Michaels. From Andrew Connell. To what lengths would you go to rub it in Steve's face once you win the Hate Championship? Got a couple of ideas. I think something. I'll think of something. I haven't really thought about it, to be honest. I'm more concerned of getting everything together so the match actually happens and actually having a great match. I take things one step at a time. So right now, my main focus is next Saturday, July 7th. Joey Ryan and Leva Bates triple threat. That's it. Once I am there, and I'm my focus is to win. If I win, then I go to the next step. Like, I don't think too far ahead. This is from Brock without the K Lesnar. I'm not gonna say his last name because I'm gonna butcher it. So, can you show me the proper form for an uppercut to the penis? I guess you just right there. Like, I don't know. All right. Mike Waits. How do you plan to counter dick flip slash Pornhub plex? Okay, so I do know that there are a lot of questions regarding my match with Joey Ryan and his dick flip and whatever he calls it today. And how do I plan to counter it or whatever. It's very simple. Just stay away from the dick. Like literally. Just another day at the office for me. Just don't touch the dick. From Alberto Rebollo, if you could do one wrestling move on Steve, what would it be? One wrestling move on Steve. I don't know. Super kick, I guess. Sure, why not? Let's go with super kick. From Ike Blanton, who would you like to have a feud with in the WWE? Pick one person from NXT and one from the main roster that you would love to be in a feud with. So, from NXT, there are 3 guys that I would love to have a feud with in NXT for very different reasons. One of them is Ricochet, for the obvious reasons that he's freaking amazing. He's just so athletic, and it's just going to be... the second guy will be Velveteen Dream, and because it would be Shakespeare. It would be a great story from start to finish. A lot of character work. I love character work. It would be amazing. The only thing is that we're both heels, so, but you know. And then the third one would be Gargano. Gargano, because he's a hell of a worker. And I know that those matches are going to be freaking great. For the main roster, again, there are the obvious guys, but I think I would love to have a feud with a very, very well-written Sami Zayn. Babyface Sami Zayn. Well-written. Kind of like the NXT Sami Zayn. Or Kevin Owens. Owens would be great. So Juan Carlos Reneo asked me, who do I believe is the best wrestler in the world? And he also asked me if I believe that I am a better wrestler than Roman Reigns. Let's take the Roman Reigns question first. Do I believe I am a better wrestler than Roman Reigns? I don't know. Wrestling, it's a very complex sport. There's so many different factors that go into someone being considered good. For me to know if I am a better wrestler than he is, or if he's any good or whatever, I would have to get in the ring with him. It's simple as that. Yeah, there's literally no way for me to just by watching TV be like, yeah, I'm better than him. Well, Now, the second question that he asked me, who do I think is the best wrestler in the world? Again, I would have to get in the ring with whoever to know how good they really are. But with me trying to be as much of a fan as I can be, which I can't really be 100% a fan because I know too much, I would say the top 5 in the world right now are the obvious guys, Kenny Omega, Okada, AJ Styles, Seth Rollins. Chris Jericho has to be up there. Out of all those 5s, you can put them in any order, and no one will argue. They all have their thing. Between Okada and Omega, Omega is a lot flashier than Okada, but Okada is like crisp. That guy will hit everything just on point. Rollins is great. Owens is great. Jericho can tell a story with whoever. Naito is great. All those guys are just so phenomenal. From Ben Kramer, what pro wrestling legend would you most like to take you under their wing for training, promoting, and maybe even manage you? I've had a lot of good fortune, especially when I was in Puerto Rico. I was able to share the locker room and drive with different legends. I think the only one person that I've never met, and I would love to have the opportunity to sit down and pick their brains, would be Paul Heyman. From Deontay Swanier, at what age did you decide you wanted to be a wrestler? And why doesn't Steve like you? You're pretty cool. Thank you. There's a couple of questions about the same topic of when I started, how I started. So I'm just going to give you guys a story. I never wanted to be a wrestler. I literally stumbled into being a wrestler. So way back in the day, two of my best friends, they're twins, they were always wrestling in their backyards at home when their parents weren't at home. Like they would pull out like couch cushions and the mattress and all that, and they would do all this crazy shit. They were the ones that got me into wrestling. So they would do all that shit all the time. They would do that as well at school. So it was 2004. There was a promotion in our hometown called PEW, and they got invited to go there as a tryout by one guy that was at school with them. So because this guy worked for this company. Then the day the show was like 5 minutes away from our house, they invited me to come with them. So we went there. It was like 3:30, 4 p.m. The show didn't start until like 8. So we get there, we get to the locker room, we shake hands, whatever. The idea of the match was, they're twins, I think I said this, but the idea of the match was for them to switch during the match a lot. And in order for them to do the switches, they would have this manager called Brian Dallas. Time comes for the match, and the manager wasn't there. So they went, like the twins, their opponent, and myself, we went to the promoter, and we're like, hey, Brian Dallas is not here. What are we going to do? And the promoter just looked at me, and he goes, do you know what Brian Dallas was supposed to do? I'm like, yeah. Okay. You go out there and do it. I was like, okay. And then, like, literally, like a minute, 30 seconds before we went out there, we were like right behind the curtain. The promoter comes to me and he just hands me a mic. He's like, here you go. Cook the crowd. I was like, oh shit. But we went out there. I cooked the crowd, I guess, as well as was expected. The match was good. And from that point forward, I was their manager. After that, I was their manager for about 7 months-ish. During that time, I started training to be a wrestler. And then 8 months into it, I had my first match, which completely sucked. I was horrible. I'm still horrible. But damn, that one was really, really bad. But, kept on it. And like you said, the rest is history. Albert San Miguel, can you cut a promo on your chances of winning going from 50% to 33.3%? Albert, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to get me into that Scott Steiner loophole thing. Not going to happen, buddy. Not doing it. Michael Cruz, what is your biggest goal? WWE Champion, 5-star match, main event at WrestleMania. Michael Valdez, are you happy doing indie shows, or would you prefer to go all in and get to the WWE brand? And Alberto Rebollo, would you rather main event all in or WrestleMania? Like I said earlier today, the answer to all these questions, I just want to make money. Having a 5-star match means that a lot of people are going to be looking at my work, which means that I'm going to get more bookings, I'm going to sell more merch, so I'm going to make more money. If I am main eventing or at least working WrestleMania, I'm making money. If I'm main eventing all in, I'm making money. So I don't care specifically where I'm at. As long as I'm making money, doesn't matter. Timothy Lemieux, once you win the H title, will you gloat to Steve? Yes, I will definitely gloat. Rob McGrath, what is your favorite kind of bean? Gary Schwetter II, as telling anyone unaware of the intricacies of the sport that you are wrestling the dick guy led to any awkward conversations? 2, have you told your parents? 3, grandparents. I don't talk to anyone about wrestling, like, at all. Like, unless you are a wrestler, you are at the wrestling school where I teach, or you are someone like one of the friendos or anything like that, like if you're not from that area of my life, I will not talk to anyone about wrestling. I don't know. So, number one, no. Number two, have you told your parents? No, they don't care. Grandparents, they don't care either. Joey Novak, are you a flat earther? If not, why are you so naive? Know what you're trying to do, Joey? But I've met Flip Gordon before. He's a great guy, so I am not going to touch that one. Joey Jensen, what if Kanye made a song about Kanye? Jonathan Carlson, where do babies come from? And follow up, where did baby Steve come from? Babies come from their mothers. And where did baby Steve come from? Mama Steve? Albert San Miguel, seriously, how do you plan to deal with Joey Ryan's penis? It eliminated 11 dudes in a battle royal at one time. Just don't touch it. Jesus Christ, what is so difficult about that? Vinny Elliott, when you beat Joey Ryan, what is the first thing you're going to do with the belt? I'm going to knight to the shit out of that, guys. Yep, that's what's happening. Damian Martin, were you a WWE or a WCW guy growing up? WWE. Never watched WCW. Again, Damian Martin, how long does it take to figure out the game plan of your matches? Do you talk with the other talent in the weeks leading up to the match, or is it like 15 no S before the match? I'm guessing minutes before the match. You talk it over. It all depends. It all depends on who I'm wrestling. It all depends on the story that we're trying to tell. It all depends on what the promoter wants from us. Depends on a whole lot of things. No, I never talked to the other guy the weeks prior. Unless there's like one spot that it's very like, that might be high risk, or it might be something that requires a little extra thought. I might tell them, send a text and be like, hey, I was thinking about this, but then that's it. It usually is a couple of hours before the show starts. Also, depending on where on the card I am or we are. If we're the curtain jerker or the first match, you do it a couple of hours before the match. When I say a couple of hours, it's literally like 1 or 2. Like, it's not 5 hours. Just if we're the main event or later on, you probably like an hour before the match, you get together and you're like, okay, so what do you want to do? This. Okay, what do you want to do? This. Okay. And then that's it. And then a little bit down, you get together and you're like, okay, so I was thinking about this, and this. So at this point, you kind of put something together-ish. And yeah, and a lot of times you just bounce ideas back and forth on how to do certain moves. And then that's it. Like, yeah, it's not a whole lot. Again, if it's a match that has a lot of spots or a lot of, it's not a matter of a lot of spots, it's just a lot of bang, 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 bang. Like, I do this, then you do this, and then I do this, and then I do that, and then. Those take a little bit longer to put together just because it's not the fact of putting them together, it's just remembering all the shit that you got to do. But besides that, it's not a thing. Yeah. I never talk to anyone days in advance or anything like that. It's just, I was very lucky that in Puerto Rico we had, usually on Sundays we would wrestle at a baseball stadium. And the way it was set up, it was that the baby faces would be in one dugout and the heels would be on another dugout. So we would never talk to each other. So we would literally go into the match, like walk out, having zero idea of what we were doing. Maybe know the finish of the match because the agent would tell us, hey, the finish of the match is this. That's it. And just go in there and just freaking figuring it out on the go. So, yeah, that was fun. Wilfred Rosario, did you ever do any wrestling in Puerto Rico? Yes, of course. I started at PEW, then I went into NWG, which became my home promotion for like 6 years, something like that. I worked for NWS. I worked for IWA Puerto Rico with Savio Vega and all those guys. I worked for WWC, for Carlos Colon, and did about 8 years of wrestling, 7 years of wrestling in Puerto Rico. From Paul Willow Williamson. If you made it to the big leagues, would you steal the friendo gimmick and refer to your fans as such? I don't know. I don't think of myself as being that big or anything like that. So anything fan related stuff, like, it's just still weird to me. So I don't know, maybe. What was the feeling going into your first match like? So long ago. I know I was very nervous. I'm still nervous. I'm still a little bit nervous every single match. And I think that's a good thing. Being a little bit nervous when you're about to come out, it's always a good thing. It keeps you on your toes. And obviously when I'm having, especially lately, like all this like big name matches, I get a little bit nervous because, it's kind of like, oh shit, like I gotta hit this, I gotta do it right. Thayer Tabata. Oh God, this guy. At what point did you realize that you sucked and no one liked you? I think it was the very first time that I came out to be a manager for the Twins, and someone actually yelled at me that my face goes really well with a punch. I was like, apparently I have one of those faces. So, thank you, Thayer. From Luke Dick. That was a great name, Luke Dick. Do you think you'll have a ball wrestling this match with Joey Ryan, or will you not go that far and just stop at the dong? Good one, Luke. All right, it says, okay, in all seriousness, is this the most high-profile name you've wrestled? If not, who else have you had the opportunity of facing? Okay, so this year alone, I wrestled Mecha Wolf 450 in February. Wrestled Cowboy James Storm in March. Sinbo D, who used to be Kazarni in WWE. I think that was in April. Grizzly Cal Jack, who used to be at NXT. And then I have Joey now. That's just this year. As a whole, I've wrestled a lot of people. That was a beautiful thing about being in Puerto Rico, especially when I was a jobber in Puerto Rico, because, you would get a regular-ass show in freaking Quebradillas on a Sunday afternoon where no one cared, and there was like 10 people in the audience. And Carlos would look at me and be like, oh, okay, so you go wrestle him. And I ended up wrestling Eddie Colon, who right now is Primo in WWE. Wrestled him. Wrestled Epico as well. Who else? Who else have I wrestled? I wrestled a lot of people. It's a lot of people. One day I will sit down and write all these people down. Then Jason J. Paris Rodriguez. Have you ever wrestled Mecha Wolf 450? All right, guys. Anyways, thank you very much for all those questions. I really appreciate everything. This was a lot of fun. Just make sure that you come, if you can, you're in the Sacramento area, you come to Clash at the Village this next Saturday, where I will be facing Joey Ryan and Leva Bates. Eventbrite.com for your tickets. You can get them. And, yeah. Paul London, Funny Bone, Brian Cage. Gonna be a hell of a match, man. Hell of a card. So anyways, guys, take it easy. Thank you for everything. And just take care.